How much income does it take to be in the top 1 and 5% of your state? Interesting, isn't it? I always like these kind of things. I'm a sucker for a list, my friends, a big fat sucker. So check this out. Here's income. This is from the Visual Capitalist. Income needed to be in the top 1%. The national average for the minimum income needed to be in the top 1% in America as a whole is 652,000 bones. But the minimum threshold varies significantly over states, all right? That's pretty interesting. American earning the median household income of 75,000 schmackaroonies would need to make 9 times more to meet the national minimum for being a 1%er. All right, so if you're making 75,000, you need to double up your earnings. 9 times the earnings. Isn't that interesting? Interestingly enough, being in West Virginia, you don't need, we'll go into this here in just a second. Check this out. So here they got the IRS individual tax filing data from 2020. All right, it's individual. So remember, if you're a sole proprietor, that's individual. If you're an S corporation, that's individual. LLC is individual. C corp a little bit different. So I'm not sure how that would be applicable to people with. I don't know. I don't know how that works actually. If you're a C corporation. But if you're like me, I'm self-employed. I have an LLC. It just all flows back to me. So my LLC is me, essentially, if that makes sense. So this does include business owners as well, unless there's a C corporation, and that's taxed a little bit differently. An estate has to file an estate tax returns a 1041. I'm not sure how that flow back either. So I think it's just individual tax returns, man. So in the estate documentation, you got distributable net income, DNI. So the estate essentially is a 1041 for a trust, I should say. It'll pay you money as a beneficiary, and obviously you have to declare that as income, as a beneficiary, the income you receive, if that makes sense. And that would certainly be part of your 1040. I'm just not sure how it'd be for all business owners. I don't know. Interesting. But either way, dividends are still going to be part of this because it says right there, big fat letters, IRS individual tax forms. Interesting. The state from which I am raised is Maine. You need about $500,000 to be in the top 1%. Go down just a couple of states south to Massachusetts, you need 903. All right, and then here's Massachusetts, you need 900,000. Here's New Hampshire, you need 650,000. Here's Maine, you need 500,000 because the rich people from Massachusetts, they come up to New Hampshire and then they start going into Maine as well. Connecticut, 953,000 bucks. Crazy. Is that the biggest one? I think it might be. California, 844,000. Where all the rich live in Colorado, 709. New York, 7. Yeah, it looks like, man, that's crazy. And Hawaii is less than 500,000 bucks. So let's just rank. So we're gonna go top 1% here. Boink. All right, we'll see what we got. Oops. Connecticut, yeah, look at that. Connecticut, Massachusetts, California. That's good. New Jersey, 817. Now let's go to the bottom. It's going to be West Virginia. 367, West Virginia, Mississippi, New Mexico, Kentucky. Again, the South, dude, because the South crushes. Top 1% tax rate, percent of annual income, 23% in West Virginia. And in Connecticut, it's 28.4. Oh, my goodness. A huge difference there, isn't it? Isn't that crazy? All right, so now on the other spectrum, the 1%ers in West Virginia make a minimum of 367. So now I want to go the Northeast and West Coast, where the large urban and economic hubs have higher income entry requirements than the states of the American South. Yep. This also correlates to the median income state by state, a measure showing Massachusetts household make nearly $90,000 a year compared to Mississippi, who makes $49,000 a year. Of course, the cost of living in Massachusetts is much higher as well. So now let's go to the top 5%. This is interesting. So remember, in Maine, to be in the top 1%, where was it? You need to have 500,000 bucks. To be in the top 5%, though, you only need 359. Isn't that interesting? To be in the top 5% in Connecticut, you only need 602. All right. And when I say only, look, that's more than I got, but I'm just throwing it out there. Look at that. In California, 557. Interestingly enough, in West Virginia, it only went down to 299 to be in the top 5%. So again, West Virginia was 368 to be in the top 1, and yet the top 5 was 300. Isn't that interesting? Maine, again, was 503 to be the top 1, only went down 359 to be in the top 5. New Hampshire was 440 to be in the top 5%, and yet is 659 to be in the top 1. I just found that interesting, man. Here at Tejas, 427 to be in the top 5%, And here's Tejas to be in the top 1, 632. Let's look at Georgia. 585 to be in the top 1%. And in Georgia, 422 to be in the top 5. Isn't that interesting? So it's like this huge, I mean, it's like literally, it's not the top 1%. It's really the top 10%. Make the bulk of the income, I presume. I haven't looked at this right now, so don't, but you don't know what you're talking about. But it's just interesting. When you factor in the top 1%, they're not that far from the top 5% and not that far from the top 10. That's why you don't go after the top 1, you go after the top 0.01, dude. 0.0. And that's what they do with the AMT, the alternative minimum tax, because in 1977, something like that, when it was passed, 73 something, there's like 2,000 families or something like that in the United States that weren't paying any income tax because of various tax deductions and write-offs. And that's where the AMT came and said, look, man, you got to pay some money. And they should. You should. Go after the top 0.01%. Say, yeah, you've done great. Good job to you. You can have all these boats and catamarans and huge houses in Hawaii. You can own islands and go to Epstein Island, all that. You can have fun. However, you're going to pay ordinary income on your qualified dividends and long-term capital gains. We're going to get rid of all the charitable deductions for the rich people. I don't know why this is so freaking difficult for people on the right to say, yeah, because the people on the right aren't those at the top 0.01. I'm just telling you right now. It's just, the right wing is so cucked about like, we can't have any tax increase because why? Well, that's not capitalism. All right, well, it's not capitalism now anyway, dude. It's corporatism. It's just and its own hook, line, and sinker by these top few at the top. And they're not contributing to Donald Trump's campaign. They're just not. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. Love your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe to the email list down below. And if you have any questions, let me know. See ya.